So, in an application that interacts with the user through a console window, user input is under control of the program. The program asks the user for input in a specific order. For example, a program might ask the user to supply first name, then a dollar amount. But the programs that you use every day on your computer don't work like that. Fine. So in a program with the modern graphics user interface, the user is in control. Fine. The
Yeah.
user can use both the mouse and the keyboard and can manipulate many parts of the user interface in any desired order. Fine. Say for
Oh,
example, you user can enter information into text fields, pull down menus, right? Click buttons and drag scroll bars in any order. Fine. Say for example, in OneNote, I have many tabs open, right?
huh.
So I can click on any tab and I can see the information. Fine. I can pull down the menu. Say right
Yeah.
now I'm in the home, right? So I can click on draw. Okay. And I can write on my OneNote to explain you the topic. Fine. So the program must react to the user commands in whatever order they arrive. All right. So program should react, right? Whenever I'm clicking, it should react, right? And it will show me
Yeah.
the information, right? So having to deal with many possible inputs in random order, it's quite a bit harder than simplify forcing the user to supply input in a fixed order, right? So in text data, whenever we are using character user interface, right? We are forcing the user to input information, otherwise your program will not move forward, right? But in the graphical user interface, user is free to feed its information according to his convenience, right? So to do that, to do that, in Java, we have something called a class called action listener, right? An interface. It's not a class, it's basically an interface called action listener is there, right? So, so the action listener interface is there, and what is the job of this interface? The job of this interface, waiting to it is waiting for some events to occur on the screen, right? Whenever there is an event on the screen, it traps the event and performs certain task, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is what we are going to do. Okay, so listening to events. So listening to events meaning whenever the user of the graphical program types character or uses the mouse anywhere inside one of the windows of the program, fine, the program receives a notification that an event has occurred. Okay, for example, when the mouse moves a tiny interval over a window, a mouse move event is generated, right? Clicking a button or selecting a menu item
Yeah.
generates an action event. Okay, so when you are moving your mouse, then mouse move, right? Then mouse move event is happening, right? Whenever you are clicking, so it generates an action, right? Then action event is happening. Okay, so let me write something about it. So whenever the user of a graphical program
Yeah.
uses the mouse one of the inside one of the windows of the program, the program notification that an an event has occurred. For example, whenever whenever the mouse moves a tiny interval, right, event. Fine. So most program don't want to be flooded by irrelevant events. For example, when a button is clicked with the mouse, right?
Yeah.
The mouse moves over the button, or then the mouse button is pressed, right? And finally, the button is released, right? Rather than receiving all these mouse events, a program can indicate that it only cares about button clicks, right? Not about underlying mouse events. On the other hand, if the mouse input is used for drawing shapes on virtual canvas, a program needs to closely track the mouse events in that case, right? So it depends upon what kind of program you are writing, right? So if you are writing a program like Adobe Photoshop, you are creating a program like Adobe Photoshop, then you have to take care about the mouse events, right? Very carefully, because mouse is a very important tool in that software program, right? So, so this is how events and event handling occur. I've given you a few instances, a few examples. Fine. So every program must indicate every program every program must indicate which events it needs to receive. It needs to receive. This is very important, right? It does that by installing it does that by installing event listener event event listener objects, right? So these objects are instances of classes. These objects are so these objects are instances of classes that you must provide. Fine. So every program must indicate which events it needs to receive, and it does that by installing event listener object. Fine. So these objects are instances of classes that you must provide, and the method of your event listener class contain the instruction that you want to have executed. Fine. Executed whenever, when, or when the events occur. The events occur. Fine. So to install,
Yeah.
install a listener. To install a listener, you need to know the event source. The event source. So you need to understand key, what do you mean by event source? From where this event is occurring, right? Which object is involved in the event, right? So you need to understand. So that the object which is involved in the event, that object is the source of the event, right?
Okay.
So to install listener, you need to know the event source. The event source is the user interface components such as button that generates a particular event. So you add an event listener object, right, to the appropriate event source, to the appropriate event source. Whenever the event occurs, the event source, the event source
Yeah.
calls the appropriate it the event source calls the appropriate methods of all attached event. Fine. So, so there is an interface, right, called public, and this interface contains only one method to override. Fine. So void action performed, and action event, action event, then event. Okay, this is a method we need to override in our class, and our class needs to implement this interface, right? So so this sounds so this sounds somewhat abstract, somewhat abstract, but so right, because the reason is behind abstract is the action listener, sorry, the action listener. So our class needs to implement override override the method. So let me create a simple application and I'll show you okay how to use this. Okay, so
Okay.
एक और here now Vyom, I'm designing one inner class, right, to implement the action listener, right?
Yeah.
And it contains a method called public void. The name of the method is action performed. Go here, right, and you just click on add unimplemented method. It automatically write down the stub for you. Okay, so you don't have to type it in Eclipse. Fine. Then you write here label dot set label dot set text, and inside the text you write I was clicked and wait
Okay.
this. Fine. It was clicked. So now here you can write uh, action listener, action listener equal to new click listener and a semicolon. Fine. Then what you do, you write here button dot add add and then you write here listen. So what we have done, no, the method name will be not add, it will be add action listener. Add action listener will be add action listener. Fine. Then label equal to new j label, new j label, and in that label you write here hello world. And what you need to do, you need to create a j panel, j panel, panel equal to new j panel. Then you write here panel dot add we need to add button first, then we need to add the panel dot add we need to add the label, and then this class actually inherits, so extends j frame. So we can write here add, and in the frame I will add panel. Okay, then from this constructor I will call the method called create components, right? Then I will set the frame size. So set first I will pass frame width and then I will pass frame height. So now I will in the main function I will write jframe equal to new button frame, right? So this is ready. So frame dot set default close operation, so J frame dot on close, and then we write frame dot set visible, and that's true. Okay, so let's execute this code. Or run as Java application. So it has generated this, and when you click over here, the label has changed, right? So whenever you click the button, it will change the label. Fine.
Okay. Yeah.
So whenever you click it, it will change the label by calling the action performed method, by calling the action performed method written over here, by calling the action performed method. When I'm clicking the object, when I'm clicking the button object, it is automatically calling the action performed method, and it is passing the action event, right? And then what I'm doing, I'm changing the labels text I was clicked, right? Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
So,
Okay.
so this is how it works. So let me add this. So here I have used one inner class. Fine. So this is the inner class. This is the inner class, and it implements the action listener. So the action performed method is overridden here. So method of action listener interface is implemented here. And there is another thing about this. Okay, see, this is the component, right? So button is the component on which button is the event source. So the action listener, so the action listener must be attached must be attached with this object. Fine. So that is why what I have done here, we have attached or added the listener event, the listener, right? Here we have attached or added the listener, right? So this is the listener, this one is the listener object, action listener object, action listener object, right? Fine. So when our button is clicked, fine. So this add action listener method calls the action performed method, fine. So when our object that is the button is clicked is clicked, right? The action performed method is called the action performed method is called. Fine. This method having one this action event. Let me talk about this action event, right? So this object contains the information about the clicked event, about the clicked event. So sometimes we use okay, when the button is clicked, right? I want the time, so I can inquire the e, right? So I need the what time this button is being clicked, right? So this kind of information we can extract from the action event e object. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
fine. So concept is clear, right?
Yeah.
So next thing is that I have used the inner classes, right? Because
Yeah.
this is the inner class, right? This is the
Inner
inner class,
class.
right? So you can see that in our graphical window, right? We have one inner class. We have only one inner class, right? But because we have only one button, but generally when you see a graphical user interface, you will find that there can be a multiple buttons also. So what you have to do, as many buttons, as many inner class will be needed, right? So it is common to implement listener classes as inner classes like this. Fine. So as many as buttons. Fine. So when you click on the checkbox also,
Yeah.
then also some action event performs, right? So then there will be an action event, right? When you click on the radio buttons, so then there will be an action, right? That also be performed. Okay, so this action listener will be present as many as event objects are present. Okay, so all the objects can have some event. Fine. So you have to create that many of inner class, right? So an inner class is simply a class that is declared inside another class. So there are two advantages to make up a listener class into an inner class, right? This is very much important. Whenever you go to the interview, if for a Java programmer, they will always ask this question, right? So why we will define inner class,
Okay.
right? In a why will we will define inner class to implement action listener, right? So you need to talk about these two advantages. First, the listener class tend to be very short, right? You can put the inner class close to where it is needed without cluttering up the remainder of the project. Fine. Moreover, inner class have a very attractive features. Fine. Their methods can access instance variables and methods of the surrounding class, right? So it can directly access the instance variables and it can access the methods of the surrounding class, right? So this feature is particularly useful when implementing event handlers. Fine. So it allows the inner class to access variables without having to receive them as constructor or a method arguments. This is the very good feature, right? Understood? So, so let me write it down.
Okay.
Write it down here. An inner class is simply class that is declared inside another class. There are two advantages. to making a listener class into an inner class. So advantage number one is listener class tends to be very short without cluttering up without cluttering the up the remainder of the project. And number two is their their methods their methods can access instance variable and methods the surrounding class the surrounding class. Fine. So the above feature useful when implementing event handlers. It allows the inner class to access variables without having to receive them as constructor as constructor or method argument. So this process is very much useful, right? So you can there is another way of solving this whole thing about the inner class. Fine.
Yeah.
By using anonymous inner class also. Okay. So let me give you one example how this is useful, right? So I can extend that example for other purposes also. Okay. So let me give you another example. Say class investment frame. This also contains a public method. Okay. So investment frame extends JFrame. JFrame. And we can create here buttons. Private J button. And I'm creating one extra variable here. Private
Okay.
double balance. And I'm copying few things from here. For example, I'm copying this from here. So let me create these two. Then now add a constructor, investment frame constructor, right? And then in the constructor, I'm writing here, say balance, balance, balance equal to say initial balance, INITI, initial balance. Initial balance is basically a constant value. So let's create this BLA double initial balance equal to 1000. And then make it interest rate. Interest rate. So interest rate is 5%. Is 5%. Let's put here 5. So let's create component. Okay, let's create the inner class um, add interest implements action listener. So you click on this, so it automatically creates this, and then you write down here double interest is equal to balance multiply by interest rate divided by 100. So we got the interest, then balance plus equal to interest.
Okay.
Result. So here we have label, right? So label set text, and here we write balance, and close the double quote plus balance. So after this, you can create a component, create a function, private void create components button equal to new j button semicolon, and here we can write add interest, and fine. So let's write action listener listener equal to new. The name of the method is add interest listener, right? So add interest listener semicolon, and then we add, so button dot add action listener, then listener. Okay, then label dot not the label equal to new j label, and then the bracket we write down balance plus balance. So now what I have to do, I've created button, I've created label, and I need to add these two in J panel, right? So I have to write here J panel P is equal to new J panel. New J panel. Fine. Then we write P dot add add. So component will be button first, and okay. Then we write P dot add. Then we write label here, and then we have to add the panel to frame. So we write here add. So this is our create component is done. So after creating the component, we call it from the constructor. So we write here name of the method is create component, right? And then we set the size, frame width, frame height. So we have set the size. Now we from the main method we create frame equal to new. The name of the class is investment frame, and then f dot set default close operation.
Okay.
JFrame dot exit on close. Then we write f dot set visible. Visible, and we make it true. Okay, so this code and we execute this. So run as. So you can see that key add interest and balance is 1000, right? Because label is equal to new j label balance and balance. So balance is showing the initial balance. Fine. So, and it is showing the add interest button. So when I click on add interest button, it will add the 5% of 1000 with 1000, right? So when I clicked it, it has added 50 bucks to 1000, right? So it has become 1050. When I click it again, it will update it again. When I click it again, it will update it again. See, it's keep on updating. Fine. Let's keep on updating. Let's keep on updating with 5%. Fine. So that's a very nice nature of event handling. We have not created a loop, but we are enjoying the loop here. See, right? And as this is not fitting up in this column, so it is changing the column many times, right? When the number of digits are more. Okay. So this is how it works. Okay. So let me add this example also there. Example of action listener inner class. Listener implemented in inner class. So as I have said that you can create the action listener uh, class anywhere, right? Which means any inner class anywhere. Even you can create the inner class inside a method also. Fine. So it will use the local variables of the method also. Okay. But that is not a good idea. So never use that idea. Fine. So next concept is anonymous inner class. This is a very nice concept, and most of the time uh, we are using it, right? Control B anonymous. ANOYMOUS anonymous inner class. An entity, an entity is anonymous if it does not have name.
Okay.
So in a program, this is basically a skill, right? Anonymous inner class. It's not compulsory you have to do it, but it is a skill which is very much important, right? So in a program, something that is only used once, right? Doesn't doesn't need a name. Doesn't need a name. Fine. For example, you can replace, right? You can replace. Say you have defined something like this string button label. Some people writes program like this button label equal to add interest, add interest, add interest, right? And after that you are writing j button equal to new J button label. But I have not done it in this way, right? When I have defined it, directly J button new J button, and in that bracket I have written add interest, right? So with if you write that thing,
Okay.
right? If you write
Yeah.
J button button equal to new J button, and just a minute, I've done a mistake here. J button B will be capital, right? J button. So what is happening here? I've done a wrong thing here. I have to sorry, I have to write here add interest, and interest, add interest, right? So what is happening here? Here I am using the object of string class, which I have not defined, the object I have not defined, right? Fine, the object I have not defined, okay, but here I have defined the object. This is the object, right? Here we have defined the object, but here we have not defined the object. Here we have not defined the object, right? And here we are using the object defined, and here we are using the object, right? I'm using the object of string class, right? Which is anonymous, fine, understood.
Yeah.
So same thing I'm going to do with the event listener also, right? So we can say that k event listener, right? We can say that k event listener, right? We can say that k event listener, right? Often often give rise to a similar situation. You construct a single object of an event listener class. Fine. Afterward, the class is never used again. The class is never used again, right? So in Java, it is possible to declare an anonymous class if you ever need is a single object of the class, right? So in Java, it's possible to declare an anonymous class if all you ever need is a single class. So what we can do here, okay, we can go to Eclipse, and what I'm going to do here, okay, I'm not going to use this class, right? So I'm commenting this out, right? I'm commenting this out, and now you can see that okay, I'm getting error over here. Okay, so what I will do, I will comment this out, then I will get error over here because button dot add listener. So listener is there. So instead of this, what I will do, I will create an anonymous inner class object, right? So I will write here new, right? I will write here new. Um, I will write here new action listener. Yeah, new action listener, right? And then what I will do, I'll write this curly brace, not there, I will write here curly brace here. Okay, fine. then what I will do, I implement the method over here. Okay, so I'm writing the method over here. So I will copy this code over here. An anonymous inner class, right? In as a parameter, right? This is fantastic, right? Whenever I'm defining an object which is associated with the listener, I'm doing at that moment, right? I'm doing at that moment, right? So this situation, this kind of a concept is fantastic now in Java. So whenever you are implementing any object and you are adding you are adding the action listener, you are defining the anonymous inner class as a parameter, right? Anonymous inner class as a parameter, and writing the action performed method inside that parameter, right? And finishing up the call and finishing up the call. Fine. So this idea is fantastic and it works also. So let me save this and let me execute this. Okay, so run as Java application, and now you can see that it is doing the same task, right? It's working fantastically, right? So this concept is quite compact, right? You don't have to write every time. Say if you have 10
Yeah.
objects like this, you don't have to create 10 classes, right? 10 inner classes. So it will reduce the complexity of your code, right? And you will never forget to add action listeners in this way. Understood? So let me copy this much of code there, and I will explain it
Okay.
inside the notes. Fine. So this means, so here, this means define a class. This means define a class that implements action listener, that define action listener interface with the given action performed method, with the given action performed method, right? Construct an object, construct. So this here I'm constructing the object because I'm using new, right? So constructor is called, constructor is called, right? So construct an object of that class, of that class, and pass it to the and pass it to the and pass it to the add action listener method. Pass it to the add add. So this is the method add action listener, and add, pass it to the add action listener method. Action listener method, right? So many programmers, right? So best part is that I like this, right? So for example, like me, there are many programmers who like this style, right? So many programmers,
Yeah.
many programmers, even you also start liking this style, right? After this. So many programmers like this style, like this style because it is so compact, because it is so compact, right? It is a compact idea, right? And we use Eclipse, right? We use Eclipse. So GUI builder. Okay, let me write it like this. Moreover, GUI builder, right? GUI builders moreover GUI builders, that is IDE, right? We use IDE, that is called Integrated Development Environment, often generate code, often generate code of this form, of this form. Okay. So when you are using IDE, right? These are not the parts of nodes, right? Means you don't have to remember these things. But whenever you are using IDE, right? They generate this kind of code. They generate button dot add action listener, new action listener, this, and then they closed it, right? So what you have to do, you have to feed this. You have to feed this. This is the information. This is the code. Code needs to be feeded. Needs to be feeded. Now, so because my Eclipse IDE has also generated this code. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Understood. So
Yeah.
this is the basic conception regarding action listener, and it is very much important also. Okay. So we in the next class we will study processing text input, right? So we will study about text boxes, which are very much important, and it is used in day-to-day programming activities. Fine.
Yeah.
So we study that. We keep the class this much today. Fine.
Okay. सर मेरे को